Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite white colonizer coming to you live from Israel. Tal, the traveling clad here. Let's take a look at some of the evils of Hamas.
This morning, Israel and its American allies reeling in outrage by the emaciated state of 3 Israeli hostages released after nearly 500 days in captivity by Hamas terrorists in Gaza. They're now barely recognizable. In a final act of humiliation, Hamas forcing one of them to speak, laughing at his excitement to see his family, while unaware his family were all murdered on October 7th. Israel's ambassador to the UN is demanding the UN condemn Hamas for war.
His wife and children, by the way, were murdered on October 7th, and they thought it would be a smart idea for global sympathy to put him on stage, as he is starving. Look, I'm sorry, before we get into Danny Danon talking, look at him as he is starving. They thought it would be smart, a good PR move for Hamas, to put him on stage and to make him give a speech and give a certificate so that when he gets home and he finds out that his wife and children were murdered by them. Can you imagine how evil you need to be?
Ambassador to the UN is demanding the UN condemn Hamas for war crimes. Ambassador Danny Danon joins us now. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us. I have to ask you, when you first saw these 3 men emerge from captivity, what was the first thing you thought when you saw them?
Good morning. I was shocked. I was shocked because for more than a year, we heard the claims that there is starvation in Gaza. But the real starvation is the starvation of the hostages. You know, when we saw the faces of the hostages, you know, it looked like that they came out from a concentration camp. You know, those images showed us the brutality of Hamas. And I think today we got a reminder with whom we are dealing. And you showed the picture of Eli Sharabi, who, you know, he was praying every day to come back and meet his families. And when he came back, he found out that his wife, his 2 teenage daughters, and his brother were massacred on October 7th. So we know with whom we are dealing, and we are determined to continue the fight and to finish the job.
Yep.
We have no other option to eliminate Hamas. That is the only answer.
Objectively, I agree with Danny Danon. These people that you're seeing on screen should no longer be able to walk alive on Earth. And anybody that supports them, that's it. In my opinion, that's clear cut. There's nothing else. They should not be able to breathe the same air as us. That's it. And we get to decide that. Nobody else. Not you watching, not the UN. We collectively, as the Jewish people, we get to decide that these people, actual Nazis, literal Nazis, do not get to exist with us anymore on planet Earth. And by the way, take a look at the silence from Bisan from Gaza, from whatever the fuck his name is. Forgot his name, the guy with the M. The guy that was flown all over the world because he's a Hamas operative. Greg Stoker. That stupid guy from Twitter. I'm forgetting Jackson Hinkle. Dave Smith. Look at the silence. Silence from the pro-Palestinian side. Silence. Eyes on Palestine didn't say anything about it. None of the IRGC pages. Nobody commentated on how bad of a look this is. Nobody has anything to say.
So when we see those images coming out of Gaza.
So, you know, obviously we're so glad to have the hostages back, every single one of them. But it does, you know, make you wonder, what price are we paying to get hostages back? And my question to you is this, you know, is there some part of this ceasefire deal which prevents Israel from interviewing the hostages who have been returned and finding out that, in fact, war crimes were committed by Hamas during their captivity, and then going back and punishing Hamas for committing war crimes?
Well, I just came back from Washington. I spent a few days with the Prime Minister, and we know that this deal is not a perfect one, but we're doing our best to bring back as many hostages alive. But I can guarantee you, we will hunt down those savages. We will make sure that they will pay the price for what they did on October 7th and what they are doing as we speak to the hostages. We have dozens of hostages, and we know about the starvation, the sexual assault, the tortures. They will pay the price. We will find them, and we will kill them.
Good.
Ambassador Danon, thank you very much for joining
Good.
us.
There's no more.
Thank you.
There's no more time to play games. These people need to be killed. Absolutely, they do not deserve to walk on the same planet as us. And if you support them, you really got to have an internal check on what's wrong with you. You have to. Thank you guys for supporting my content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you long time. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.